Well, I will say this. I've never seen somebody love a hammer and an axe as much as Thor. So I guess let's just talk about it. Hey, what's up, guys? So we're here to talk about Thor. Just came out. Will be out tomorrow, but I just went and saw it today. But before we kind of get into that, just like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification down below. I'm pushing for 100 subscribers. I'm trying to do something special for 100 subscribers. Yes, it's a small amount, but anything counts. I'm happy that I have the subscribers that I do, and I want to keep growing. So we're definitely gonna get into that. It was in my previous video, kind of at least my ideas of what I want to do. So definitely go check that out. But let's get into Thor. So written and directed by Taika Waititi. I believe he wrote and directed or co-wrote Ragnarok as well. Obviously, this movie and Ragnarok have the same type of comedy. I mean, Taika Waititi, that's what he does. What We Do in the Shadows, a lot of his other projects. I mean, that it has his handwriting all over it. Obviously, you can tell he wrote the script, so it's going to have a lot of comedy in it. And then obviously you have Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Christian Bale. All the big players are back. Christian Bale is as Gore the Godslayer. But basically, it seems like the comedy kind of overdid or overshadowed a lot of the movie. The first act, the comedy sets up, and it believe me, honestly, the comedy, every joke for the most part landed. I thought it was funny. I laughed at it. Especially in the first act, a lot of the jokes, it just seems like they was setting up characters. They were joking with each other. He finally sees Natalie Portman, Jane Foster as Thor, and there's joking around there. So that's great. Obviously, in the first act as well, you see the backstory for Gore the Godslayer, and his backstory and how kind of tormented he is and why he's tormented, and why he wants to kill all the gods, which honestly, it's a good reason, so we'll just leave that at that. But yeah, so it just seemed like the comedy kind of overshadowed a lot of the different scenarios and scenes and stuff like that. Chris Hemsworth, always great. His comedic, timing and everything like that. He can definitely, he's funny. I mean, there's no way around it. We've seen that in other movies. We've seen that in Thor Ragnarok, Endgame, everything like that. He's just a funny guy. And then Natalie Portman, I think, kills it as Jane Foster and then the other Thor. Obviously, they give you the backstory on how she became Thor and why she's Thor. If you've read the earlier, I think it's around like 2010, 2012-ish run of Thor with Jane Foster as Thor, you kind of know somewhat of the story, but there's a little bit in there that is added. I believe it's not all, obviously not all of that story, because they have to kind of change it to fit this narrative. But yeah, she definitely kills it. Chris Hemsworth, by all means, is great. He's always great in these roles. He loves Thor. I'm pretty sure his kid's favorite comic book character is Thor. So, I mean, by all means, keep making them. He does a great job. I will never not go see a Thor movie, especially with him in it. And then Christian Bale, I mean, the guy can do no wrong. I mean, he puts his effort, like 120%, into these movies. Every movie he's done, I think he's done great in. He always transforms into the role. Obviously, I believe it was the machinist. Wow, I don't know why that was so hard to say. But that movie, I think he got down to under 100 pounds because that was what the role was. So he always gets into it. He does a great job. He's a great villain. Obviously, like I said, his backstory, you can kind of get behind it. So I can understand. He was definitely a cool villain. Don't get me wrong. I would have liked to see more of him. I feel like that was one of the issues, is you're hanging out with Thor and you're hanging out with Jane Foster and Valkyrie and all that, and they're joking around. You got Korg cracking jokes, and you don't see a lot of the villain to be like, oh crap, this guy's really scary, this guy's really powerful. You see him use some of his powers here and there, and see what he does to gods, but he only does it, I think, once or twice before he fights Thor. And I feel like diving into his character more would have given this more substance. I feel like the story itself kind of maybe if it would have taken a darker tone. I mean, you could still have the jokes. They could, it'd still be a funny movie. It's a Marvel movie. That's what Marvel does. But yeah, if you kind of give him more screen time and show kind of how dark he is and who he's killing and why and all of that, I feel like it would give him more depth to his character, which he still did have some. But I mean, he was a cool character. Christian Bale nailed it with him. So yeah, I mean, I would 100% recommend to go see it. I enjoyed it. It seemed a little jumbly, especially the second act. The second act kind of slowed down almost to a snail's pace when you're talking with Thor and Jane Foster, and they're getting into their relationship and what they are, what they aren't. So it's weird. So like the first act I loved. Second act really kind of dragged a little bit, and then the third act you kind of just really get into it. There's a really cool scene in kind of the final battle-ish that I won't go any details, but it's pretty awesome. It's like a big group scene, so I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so that's Thor. Go see it. I think it wasn't his best. I think Thor Ragnarok still is the best Thor movie by all means. Taika Waititi still everything he does. I mean, if go see anything he does. I mean, he's great. He's funny. Especially him as acting. He's really good. Obviously, Korg. Everybody loves Korg. But yeah. So, what did you think? Did you see it tonight? Are you going to see it tomorrow? This weekend? Did you like it more than Thor Ragnarok? Did you like it at all? I know a lot of people might be up in the air with this. I'm sure it's going to be either I love it or I hate it. I'm kind of right in the middle. I enjoyed it. I think there's definitely a lot better Marvel movies, and kind of go from there. But yeah, did you guys like it? Leave it down in the comment below, and then we'll just keep these things going. See you later.